Hey YouTube, it's your beekeeper here, getting you back on the Yamasaw. You can tell things haven't moved in a while. We are going to, tonight I just got home from my second job. I had somebody ask me in a previous video if I'm still doing apartments on remodels and stuff on the side, and the answer to that question is yes. And probably for another 8 or 10 months. I've got 2 more semesters of university education for my youngest child, and then she'll graduate. She's got 1 more year left, and then I don't have to work so much because I'm trying to get both my kids educated and not incur any debt, I guess is what I'm trying to say. What have we done so far? Not a lot, because last weekend I ended up working both days. I'm going to do a little work tonight though. The plywood I ripped, that's some scrap. It's 3/4 ply. That's scrap from the last apartment that I just finished up about 4 days ago. I still need to drill the holes and bolt it in. It's just kind of friction fit in there now, but I think that's going to give really good blade protection if that blade decides to take a trajectory off the wheels. It won't kill anybody in theory. Right now what I'm going to work on is the roller blades. Last weekend old Skippy and I sat down and had a jam session, and you can tell, yeah, I've got it set. I have the tension on this thing set for the actual blade, the metal blade, not my fake blade. The metal blade, for whatever reason, turned out to be smaller, but it's neither here nor there. So where we left off last was I finished the shrouding for the fan. I think that's going to work really, really well. I haven't run it for an extended amount of time, just because I hadn't gotten around to doing it to really test this, but I am feeling pretty confident about that. Like I said, we got the plywood up under here to catch that. Tonight we're going to work on the rollers. I intend to, because this thing pulls this way, right? This thing rotates clockwise or to the right. I'm going to have a fixed wheel on this side, blade guide wheel on this side. It's going to mount to this frame here, doesn't have to move. And then I'm going to have one here that'll slide in and out. And I figure if I've got one roller guide here, and at the absolute widest here, it is 43 or 44 inches. I should be able to get a 44-inch wide cut, which is spectacular. Will this machine actually physically be able to cut 40+ inch log? I don't know. Only one way to find out. But it's going to slide, right? It's going to be able to slide, because if let's say I'm doing a 12-inch log and I want to get some smaller planks, I want to be able to slide the roller in to guide the blade to keep things from wandering, right? Because it will tend to wander. And for months and months, I wasn't quite sure what I was going to do. Once my brain finally started thinking about it. So Skippy had come over last weekend, and we were sitting around and brainstorming on ways and things. And let me show you what we're going to do for ways and things. So what I have is this 7 or 8 foot piece of strut, unistrut, super strut, whatever you want to call it. It's the shorter profile. This is all in my hoard. Excuse me. This is left over from some electrical work I had done on a property, and this is what the electricians were using to mount conduit, EMT conduit. This is the flexible water line I'm going to use. It's an old sprayer, garden sprayer, that the tip is mashed on. It's no good. They threw it away. Somebody threw it away. I can't even remember right now where I got this from. Doesn't matter. It was in the trash. I picked it out of the trash because it's got a nice flexible line. I'm going to use this to cool the blade. And my intention is to put a tank. There'll be a tank on top with some soapy water, and then this will allow, because the machine will go up and down, and then it's going to have a dribble thing on the blade. And so this should give me a lot of flexibility, but I'm all over the place. It's been a long day. The leaves are falling. So the thinking is, I think it's about 60 some inches across this. I'm going to take this super strut. I'm going to, and maybe this might change once I actually do it, but I'm thinking I'm going to weld it on this part of the frame. Okay, so it's going to be welded here, and it's going to go from like here to somewhere behind there. But that'll give me a channel, and it's going to get welded facing this way. This is going to be mounted like this. Okay, and it's going to slide. The rollers will come down here, and it'll roll on the blade, if you can imagine this, and then it's going to slide. To slide it in, you're going to have 3 bolts slide it out. So we came up with this idea where, hold on, let me get a wrench and take these nuts and bolts out. Let me actually do this. We'll be right back. Okay, I just wanted to pull the bolts out. So this is 1/2 inch. No, that's not 1/2 inch. Dang it, I should have done some research before I turned the damn camera on. I'll show you what I'm doing with that. Where's my tape measure? It is 7/16 of an inch thick. Pretty beefy, right? And then this is a block. Now let me show you. This is these are 2 pieces. Drilled some holes in here. Skippy actually built this. Plug welded it, drilled and tapped. Right, so imagine this is going to be cut into thirds. It's going to be 3 different pieces. It's going to slide in this end. So this is in thirds, right? Ding, zing. And then this slides over the top. And, right, the holes line up. That'll be in the middle. This one will be over here. And then there's going to be a nut and bolt, the one I just removed. Not a nut and bolt, excuse me, a washer and the bolt. And you'll tighten to 3, set it in place, done. When you want to move it, you'll loosen the 3. This will slide, and what's nice is this, when this has all 3 positions, you're not going to, there will be no play in that roller. Does that, any of this make sense? It probably doesn't. It makes sense in my own head, but I'll get a more detailed video of that. I'm also going to do a detailed video on my thoughts on compounding this overhead garage door spring to lift the device. I want to make a series of videos that are specific to what I've constructed, and just in case somebody down the road wants to duplicate something like this, they'll say, oh, I understand how he did it. I understand how he did the lift mechanism for the cutters. Or, that guy's an idiot. I'm not going to do anything like that because he's dumb. And that's possible, because I am. This is a T101 Intermatic timer, light timer. That's an old one. The guts are dead, long since dead. I had this box in my hoard for a long, long time because I thought, oh, that's pretty cool. What this will do, I'm going to mount this on the frame of the bike. And I'm going to have 2 switches, just regular 2 toggle switches. Make it easy. Turn on and off the fan, and then a switch to turn on and off the ignition. You'll be able to open it. Rats, I had it open. And access the wiring that the wire harness is all going to tuck in here along with the fuse block. That little block of fuse. Everything will fit in here. And have the switches mounted on here with a little bit of extra wire. You can close it off, go about your business. Turn on the bike, turn on the fan. That's what I'm thinking. It may or may not work. I don't know. Roller guides, we talked about it before. I've got these 2 sleeves. I have 20 of these high-speed bearings. I'm going to put these on the lathe. I need to cut the pockets a little bit bigger, a little bit deeper. And if you look at the way this thing lines up, so you got this bottom hole, okay, imagine it's going to go there, and then you got the top hole. This is almost like I planned this, right? Almost. So, right, you got that much adjustment, and I'm still in this oval. So I'm thinking, and I could be wrong, again, I've never built a sawmill before, but that's never stopped me, ever. Yeah, I've got 20 of these bearings, and I'm going to use quite a few of them. So this will be a fixed one. This will be tight and spinning, and then the blade will set in this way, right? The blade runs this way. You'll be able to push this down onto the blade, tighten this nylon nut, and it'll guide it, I think. And then when you want to change the blade, you can loosen this up. And I don't even know, you may not need to loosen it, but I'm thinking you loosen the nut, you can slide this whole thing up to there, roughly. And then you can take the old blade off, slip the new one on, lower it, tighten it, and you go. Keep the blade from wandering. I mean, I could have the blade rub up against here, but that doesn't seem like that's the best insofar as longevity. So you can take one of these, and I'm going to, because they've got such a big center, I don't remember what I even have these for some project that never came about, but I'm going to have the bearings run like this, have the blade run along here. So it'll hit the bearing, keep it from pushing back any farther, and since I have so many bearings, I may put one on either side, just for funds, because I have them. But right now, we're going to get to working on this thing. But I just wanted to let you know that I am working on this thing. I've got to pull the lathe apart right now, or uncover the lathe. Yeah, so that's where that's going to go, right? And I'm going to need 2 of them. And then this will hang off that frame of the front wheel. The moving one, the moving part of the wheel, the moving part of the roller guides is going to be on that other long piece of strut. I think, again, I don't know. That's kind of the way my brain's thinking of it right now. It may or may not work. We'll see. But yeah, stay tuned and take you along for the ride. Thanks for watching. Gotta go, gotta run. See ya.